Hello everybody and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here and I'm back at Magic Mountain 2 weeks after opening to see what's new and what's changed at the park. Let's go! So it ended up taking us about 20 minutes to even get to the parking booths this morning, and a further 25 minutes to get into the park fully. But after almost an hour, we're in, and the park isn't looking too busy at the moment, but it is going to get quite busy a little later on in the day. So we're gonna go and hopefully ride some rides as soon as possible. Well, here's one thing that's going on at the park almost every day now. The Flash Pass line goes all the way up the hill. That's crazy to me. And also, the Helpful Honda Express still not open, at least today. Speaking of long lines, Revolution down the hill. While the lines are ridiculously long, at least that we've seen so far, the midways are still quite quiet. Oh, and hey, look!
Wow,
it's Z Coasters, aka Zach.
It's Parks Bros.
Well, a new addition to the mural for the greatest coasters ever built. That's right, they put in West Coast Racers. Now, 2019 was the preview year, but 2020 was the official opening date. But whatever, it's still awesome to see. Well, we were certainly hoping to ride Viper first, considering it usually never has a wait. Well, it's down to the sign. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. I mean, probably about a 30-minute wait or so, but usually Viper is a walk-on. So I know I got a lot of comments last time I came to the park about masks flying off on rides. Now, last time I wore a reusable mask that was made of cotton, and that didn't have any problems. Now, I'm trying the reusable masks to see if those fly off at all, and I'll let you know. Tatsu today is housing almost full switchbacks in the queue. My goodness, that is a lot of people, holy cow. Yeah, I don't see too much distancing in that line. That's a little worrisome. West Coast Racers queue is still holding up, probably around 45 minutes to an hour at least. Well, we're gonna check how long Apocalypse's line is. I find it funny, this is the ride I keep coming back to whenever I'm at the park. But hey, it's got a shorter wait and it's a wonderful ride, and I definitely recommend it. Also, you get amazing views of West Coast Racers. And that wooden roar. All right, well, I gotta be honest with you. Zach and I are incredibly spoiled with this park, even after a year of it being closed, because we didn't feel like waiting about 35 to 40 minutes for Apocalypse. But that's on us. I mean, we totally could have ridden it, we totally could have waited, but we just didn't feel like doing so. So we're gonna try and check out other places in the park, probably just grab a bunch of B-roll today, because it's a perfect day for that. Like, the sun is behind the clouds just perfectly. But yeah, we'll see if we get on anything today, and if we don't, that's completely okay. In front of West Coast Racers, they even have a juggler who's doing a little performance, which is awesome. Over by the Pacific Speedway, right next to West Coast Racers now. Notice they changed the name from Thurman's Garage to Bob's Garage. Interesting change. Riddler's Revenge is currently undergoing test runs at the moment. You'll probably be able to see it behind me. Oh, right there. But yeah, hopefully it reopens soon and maybe we can get in line right as it reopens. Literally everywhere we've gone today has had the geese just taking control and standing above everyone. Looks like our geese overlords are pleased with us being back at the park. Maybe, I really don't know. It's crazy to see so many of them at the park though. Over by Riddler's Revenge and Justice League. Justice League looks to be about a half hour. Riddler's currently still testing, hoping it opens up very soon. There's no greeter at the front to tell us no. So we're gonna walk up, see how bad the line is, and we'll see if we ride it. So we just waited about 25, almost 30 minutes for Riddler's Revenge. Got an amazing ride in the second row. That's right, they're loading all rows now. We were on the first train to load every single row on Riddler's Revenge. I wonder if they're doing that at other places in the park. We just saw a Gold Rusher go by. They're not doing that on there yet, but very interesting to see that change happening today. Hopefully it makes lines go quicker, and hopefully it's completely safe enough to do. Also, if you're curious, my mask did not come off at all. It was secure the entire time. If you're curious, Jam and Bumpers reopened. Still trying to wrap my head around us being the very first people to sit down on every single row of Riddlers, but Crazianity still closed, but they do have social distancing markers on the seats as of now, so hopefully it'll reopen very soon. So now we're heading to the Scream Punk District, gonna check out Twisted Colossus's line as well as maybe even Scream's line, see if we can ride either of them without waiting too long. Well, Twisted Colossus is one of those rides that I never want to miss at this park whenever I visit. But when it has a line this long, it makes me question wanting to ride it every single time. Don't get me wrong, I love this ride so much, but waiting over an hour for it at this point in time, not exactly my cup of tea. Scream, thankfully, does not have that long of a line. I think we might actually check this ride out because we haven't ridden it in so long. Now, as we wait for Scream, it's apparent that they are running a full train. That's right. No distancing between rows. You don't have to skip every other row. So we'll get on this ride pretty quick. So we got a front row ride on Scream. And I gotta say, really fun ride. Definitely check it out. The line wasn't too bad. It was maybe 25 minutes. But I will say some downsides. A lot of people are not following distancing or mask rules anymore, which really sucks. That was the one thing I was really praising the guests for last time I was here. And this time, it's really 50-50, which really stinks. Like, a lot of people are just dropping it right below their nose, which isn't effective. So, yeah, just something to look out for. I've been trying to distance. Zach and I have been trying to distance from other groups all day, and a lot of the time they just sneak up right behind you and don't care about space. And it's like, come on, man. Even on a regular day, that wouldn't be cool. I will say on the plus side, though, it is a gorgeous day. Not too hot. There's a beautiful breeze, and it is just perfect for picture taking. So just stopped and got myself a vitamin water over at Studio 6F and sat down and drank it, which it was delicious. But Jetstream, as well as the other water rides, are closed today, sadly. But I'm not really that sad because it is a little chilly, I would say, personally, to ride a water ride. So now we've actually come to the back of DC Universe to check up on Batman the Ride, which is currently getting repainted. And if you're curious about the color, they're actually sandblasting all of the old blue and replacing it with the same blue. But I gotta say, the resprayed areas that we were able to see from Riddler's Revenge at the top of the lift hill, they look incredible. Like, this will be one of the best looking rides when this repaint is done, and I'm so excited to see it all finished up, hopefully within the next couple of months. And of course, it wouldn't be visiting next to Green Lantern First Flight's old home without checking out markers. Now, if you saw our last vlog from Magic Mountain, you would know that only these two markers are left in the entirety of the park and this area. And there's been no change in the past 2 weeks. So if something's still happening, we'll just have to wait and see. Our next stop of the day has brought us to Superman Escape from Krypton. Hopefully this time it does not break down on us like it did last. But hey, even if it does, it's alright. We're already kind of expecting not to ride much today, and it's been a fun day nonetheless. Man, it's so cool to be walking down the Fortress of Solitude yet again. It's been so long. Can't wait to go 100 miles an hour and 400 feet in the air. Holy crap, we just got off of Superman. It is so much quicker. This is becoming now a must-do for me at the park. And now that there's only 15 minutes left till park close, there's no line. So I think we're gonna get right back in and get one more ride for the day. It's so much faster. It's ridiculous. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, mask still didn't fly off, even when I was going 100 miles an hour. So you really shouldn't be concerned about that unless your mask is already very loose fitting anyway. So about that, we're not actually gonna ride it again. Supposedly the ride is already closed, even though they're still running with people, and there's still 10 minutes left till park close. So I don't know if they changed their park policy, like they don't allow people to get in lines within the last 15 minutes of operation now, because this kind of happened with us last time with West Coast Racers. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding, but really annoying. And I do hope that that kind of gets figured out as the weeks go on. But yeah, there's no line for it right now. The park is still open, and yet we're not allowed to ride, which is really kind of frustrating. So in an incredibly odd fashion, we're not allowed to ride Superman, but we're allowed to ride Ninja. So we're gonna ride Ninja for our last ride of the night. Hey, I'm glad we can at least ride something. Also, haven't been on this since last year, so I'm excited to get back on. Ninja near the back row, phenomenal. Also, best dispatch I've ever seen. This lift hill was already gone before we even got back into the station. It was brilliant. Great job, Ninja team.
So as you can see, made it back home from Six Flags Magic Mountain, specifically my second visit since their reopening. And I gotta say, there was a lot that had changed and a lot that still has not. Let's start off with some of the good changes, and that is operations are much quicker and maintenance issues are not really a problem anymore, which was great. It was a lot easier to wait through those lines and not have to worry too much about things breaking down, which is a great change of pace compared to our last visit. Now, the next big positive is the fact that walking around the midways still feels quite empty. Sure, the lines themselves are incredibly busy, at least the bigger and more impressive attractions, but when you're just walking around the midways, it's hard to tell that those lines can be upwards of an hour long because those midways definitely seem to be super quiet, which is a great thing. Moving on to some of the not so good, I do wish there were still some more sanitation stations around the park, specifically once you exit the rides. I feel like there should be one of those at every single ride, but it's only a 50-50 chance to see one of those, sadly. And this is nothing to do with the park, but a lot more guests aren't following rules, specifically with distancing and mask wearing. It was almost a 60-40 split on whether you would see someone wearing a mask properly or even at all, which is really not a good thing to be seeing while you're walking around the park. Now, distancing, of course, was a whole can of worms, I feel like, with a lot of guests just really not caring. But there were multiple cases throughout our day where somebody didn't distance behind us and had their mask down. We had to kind of ask them to please step back and put their mask on. Now, whether they respected our wishes or not was definitely a mixed bag, but this has nothing to do with Magic Mountain. This is just regular everyday people that don't seem to follow some simple rules, which does really stink as a guest trying to be as safe as possible. Also, one thing that still hasn't really changed since our last visit was the water situation. Now, today wasn't nearly as hot, so water wasn't such a hot commodity. Ha, get that pun. But it still is something I would like to see addressed a little bit more. I know you can mobile order now with multiple restaurants, which we did not get to check out today, sadly. But at least from what it seems, water will be more and more available, especially with those restaurants and quick service places. Now, whether you count this as a good or bad thing, lines are still pretty long, especially at the bigger attractions. I mean, even Viper was holding at least a 30-minute wait halfway through the day, and West Coast Racers over an hour. Twisted Colossus was the same, and Tatsu, of course, the same. Now, we thankfully didn't wait over 30 minutes in a line, but we were very picky, and I will admit we are very spoiled when it comes to waiting for rides. You'd think after waiting for a full year to ride these rides again, we'd be willing to wait an hour and a half for some of these coasters, but that's just how it is when you visit a park so much. You're just like, nah, we can ride that eventually anyway. But all in all, I do think that the park is improving. Everything is getting better and better as they go along. Operations especially were stellar today with the coasters and the food, which is a big step up in comparison to last time we visited. Outside of that, there's still a couple of things that need to be worked on specifically from guests, but the park can only do so much when it comes to guests not following simple instructions. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe. We've got tons of new content coming out very, very soon involving all of the parks reopening and much more, which I'm sure you guys are going to be absolutely thrilled by. And of course, make sure to go check out my great pal Z Coasters right up there for his awesome video from today. But until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.